Welcome back, everybody. We are back in the paint booth today, and I still have the body tub. I had to make some adjustments here. As you can see, I put a little bit of filler in places. Fenders are finished. They're off the fender jig. The hood is finished, but the hard top, every time I prime and sand it, there's still a lot of pitting in it. I've got most of it, but because this was the flattest area on the Jeep, there's still some pitting that comes through every time. So nothing I can do with that except go after it with a little bit of filler. Same thing on the cowl. It was really pitted through there, and I wanted to save a lot of the original body, so the cowl and the firewall are original. I had to build the side panels. There's a couple little areas that got deep scratches in them. That's the original toolbox I was able to save, and the rear floor and the wheelhouses I had to make. But I did save as much as I could of the original body. And what you're looking at on the body is I got 3 coats on the outside of high build primer. Underside has 2, inside has 2. That top probably has 6 on it right now, but I sanded a lot of it off. So this is gray. I'm confident this is the last round of little boo-boos that I'm going to have to take care of. So the next coat of primer you're going to see me put on here is going to be white. Our final color on this before we put the red base is going to be white. And even after the white primer is going to be a white sealer. Everything that's not in the booth right now is going to get sanded, and a white sealer is going to go on that before we put the base on. Everybody has their own feeling about what color to put under red. Some guys like to put yellow. I like to put white. So this will get maybe another 2-3 coats of white. It's going to get sanded out. It's going to get sanded with 400 wet, and then we're going to shoot a sealer coat of white. So these are the last 2 pieces that need high build primer. Fenders came out beautiful. Hood is looking great. All the hard top parts, all that stuff is looking very good, ready for sanding and sealing. Today we're going to do another round of high build, and I'll try and show you that as it's going on. We're going to give this a little bit of time to harden up. I'm going to sand that with 220, and we're just going to go after it a little bit at a time. The inside is looking real good. We're going to scuff that up with some 220 just to knock down some of the there's a little dry spot over there, just to knock some of that stuff down, and then we're going to get going, get busy with the high build. So I'll be back with you when we're ready to sand and shoot. Okay, a lot of guys have been asking me what kind of products I use. On this final coat of filler, I use the Evercoat. See if I can prop that up for you. Metal glaze. And that with the hardener works out real nice. It's very, very, very smooth, sands beautifully, and it's for little things that you see when you're priming. So I use that, and they don't give me anything, and they're not a sponsor or anything. It's just that stuff works real good. I mix everything on an onion board because you can just peel away the layers there. Throw that out and you get another surface. I use these all the time. You get hundreds of, look how thick that is, you get hundreds of sheets of that. Good way to mix your filler, nice clean surface every time. So just for you guys that are wondering what kind of stuff I use, that's what I use for my final little filling of pits, things I missed when I was priming, anything like that. Evercoat metal glaze works great. Okay guys, I just blew everything down, and when I was sanding our couple filler spots, I gave the body a quick sand with 220. It's not necessary, but it will save you a lot of sanding with the 400 grit later. So if you can knock the highs down mid-prime, it'll help you with your next coats. It'll be a lot less sanding on your finish coat. So inside we sanded out some of our dry spots. Right now everything is blown off, the fans were on, and we're going to give this a clean. I'm going to wipe everything down and get ready to start shooting the white high build. So like I say, if you flatten this out, this is 220. Our next coats are going to lay much flatter, and you'll be much happier when you go to do your 400 wet sand. Okay guys, you can see the mixing room is pretty jammed up with parts. Kind of tight in here right now, but that's what we're going to shoot. SPI Turbo 2K. This stuff dries real fast. There you go. That's the white. So it's 4:1. 4 parts of the primer, 1 part of the activator. You can reduce it as well. You can do a 4:1:1 and reduce it. It makes it a little bit thinner, a little bit easier to sand. I don't have any trouble with it, so I always mix it 4:1, and it works fine for me. It sands nice, but if you don't have the right gun and it's not laying down perfectly flat, it could be a nuisance. That right there, if you can see it, that is a 2.5 nozzle. Let me show you something smaller. I don't know if you can see that, but that's a 1.4 nozzle. For this primer, you need a 1.8 to a 2.5. I have not had any luck with anything except the 2.5. That's my SATA polyester filler spray gun with the 2.5 nozzle, and I can lay it down the best with this. It lays perfectly flat. It's easy to sand. 1.8 or 2, I haven't had good luck shooting it at 4:1. If you're going to shoot this stuff, I recommend a 2.5, and you'll have to play around with it to get the fluid and the fan right, but it does put it down very nice. So we're going to get mixing this 4:1, and we'll go in there and we'll start shooting the underside, the inside, and when we get all that done, we'll flip it and do the outside. Okay guys, we're done spraying the white. It's just drying now. That was 5 cups, full cups of material, mixed 4 to 1. And I think you can see how nice it laid down. There's a light shining on this. I think you can tell it laid down nice and flat. With a big nozzle gun like that, you're going to probably, I'm at 40 psi on my gun regulator. You need good amount of air to run a gun like that. I adjust it right to 40. You need 40 psi to get this heavy stuff out of the gun. And everything is looking good. I'm happy the way it laid down. And when you're laying your primer down, you want to try and make a road map for how you're going to lay your color down. So I've got it down where I put it up on one edge and then the other edge, and then do the inside and outside together to keep a nice wide edge. This project is going to be a little different than most. I'm going to do the underside, and then I'm going to edge where the fenders go on, where the doors go on. The underside will be 100% base clear in red, and then I will move on to attaching the entire hard top, and I'll put this on a low cart and it won't be flipped again. Once the underside is done, I will put everything together, hard top, doors, and fenders, rear fenders, not the front fenders. I'll leave the front fenders off and paint those separate. But it'll go on a low cart, just enough to where I could get under these fenders and get the base and the clear in there. But that'll be it. That'll be the last time we flip it. So at this particular point, the body needs to be sanded along with all the other parts, and then on top of this white primer we'll put the white sealer that will give us a very good base for the red, and then we'll get boogieing on the red. What you don't want to do, because this primer dries so fast, at 70 degrees in a half an hour you could be sanding this stuff. I let it sit overnight for before I sand it. You don't want to rush the primer. You don't want to get too many solvents built up in there and quick put base on that, because you'll have solvent pop and you'll have some delamination issues like that. So worst thing you can do is rush a paint job. And like I say, we're gonna get out of the booth, let this sit overnight, and come back, and probably be a couple days of sanding before we put the red down. But I will take you along and show you how it goes. Okay guys, we're gonna let that body tub sit overnight before I start sanding. So on to other things. I've showed this in the past. This is that Fire Jeep CJ5. Came from South Berwick Fire Department up in Maine. Guy that owns this, he really drives and enjoys it. Uses it just like a Jeep should be used. Doesn't let it sit around, and he takes it everywhere. I'll get some new seats in there for him. They were recovered. And this gets driven a lot, and it came in just last week I think, and it is overheating very bad. It's got the original radiator in there from 1961, so I do have a new radiator for him. We're going to change the hoses, going to put a thermostat in there, get him back up and running so he can enjoy it for the season. But that's something that needs to be taken care of. We'll probably get on that Monday of next week. And I've got some motors coming in next week. Apparently there's some people having trouble putting L heads together and F heads, and we'll discuss that a little bit next week. It's amazing how bad this particular company is screwing people on engines. I'm quite surprised, and we're going to talk about that when I get that engine in next week. But bench is full of stuff. We've got a little bit of everything going on. A lot of SPI stuff came in. A nail gun quit on me. I got waiting for a pin for that. But a lot going on, and we're keeping busy here in the shop, and still working by myself. And one of these days, I'm hoping to find the right person to help me in the shop and around the farm here. If there's anybody out there, I've tried some people before. Some people last a week. Some people just want to lay around and eat potato chips and do nothing. Some people are confused with life and don't know what they want to do. But if you know that you have a passion for anything, metalworking, engine building, transmission building, painting, farming, sawmilling, steam engines, anybody's got a passion for any of those things, you put a comment below and let me know. Like I say, I'm looking for one person to be able to take things over when I get a little too old for it. So I figured I'd start looking. I've been looking forever, but figured I'd start looking now. I like rebuilding transmissions. There's another T18 needs to be rebuilt. There's the T18 that's going in the J truck. Needs to be rebuilt. Just a little too much stuff for one person lately. So here's a military CUCV, and just went out this morning. Tractor Supply had a good deal on the Green Giants, the Arborvitaes. Got to get those in the ground today. So there's a lot going on all the time at the shop. Anybody out there thinks they might be a good fit, you put a comment below, and it's time to get things, get some help around here. So that's all I have for you today. I will take you along and show you more of the painting. We'll fix that Fire Jeep. I'll show you how that goes, and we'll just keep jamming on things. So, as usual, thanks for watching. I appreciate all the guys that watch and comment. Try and spread the word. Tell a friend. Spread the videos around. Always trying to grow the channel. So, yeah, keep it moving out there. Alright, everybody. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.